Okay. Good evening, everybody. Hope that you're doing great. Now that I've got this kind of kicked off, let's get this session of Real Estate After Dark going. So I was going to do this stream tomorrow. However, we've got family in town, and we were able to finish up dinner and everything tonight early, which means that if I jumped on tonight and I did the stream tonight, that tomorrow we could have plans with something else. So hope that any of you that expected it to be on Tuesday don't mind so much that I'm doing it tonight. And if you are in that, or if you end up watching this replay, if you have any questions, I want you to just reach out. I'm more than happy to talk through any scenarios, whether it be loan requests, trying to underwrite deals, or anything else. And again, this is exclusive to people in the school community. However, I still want to give back to the just overall community for investing. That being said, I've got a couple changes that I'm going to be working on over the next few weeks. Number one, I'll be changing Real Estate After Dark to going into the school community exclusively. And I don't know, might bring it back out, might not. I don't know. We'll have to just kind of see where it goes and how I feel at that time. But also, in the next, I'd say in the next month and a half, 2 months, I'm going to be taking the price of the school community up. And right now it's $10 a month. And anybody that's in there, they're actually locked in at that price. So when the price goes up and it's either going to be $49 or $99 a month, they're actually going to stay locked in at that price. So if you're interested in getting into that, I want you to, go in. I'm going to put this in here. Let's see. There it is. You can still sign up. Jump in there for your $10 a month. If you don't feel like there's enough value for that, then don't come in. It's just that simple. Let's see. We've got a few things to kind of chat about. Last week, I was able to put a property under contract, piece of land. It's 40 acres back in Shreveport area, 41 acres. And it's a 69 unit development. It's already been approved through the city. So that's one big thing that I like about it. We're going to have to look at revising the plans a little bit just to make it more effective. So if anybody wants to talk through what that looks like, or what the numbers are looking like, what am I, kind of coming up with, then we'll dive into that as well. I've already got it under contract. EMD is there, so if you try to go around me, good luck. Let's see, what else do we have? Still looking for some flips. Still looking for more rentals. So if you are in either Louisiana or Florida, particularly Northwest Louisiana or Southwest Florida, those are the sweet spots. Um, Let me just tell you, Florida is probably going to be more flips than rentals. I just don't see where they meet my buying criteria for cash flow. Let's see, what else do we have? Hmm. Let me see. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that we have this kicked off and going. So bear with me while I make sure that everything is working correctly. There we go. All right. So tonight, I'm just going to move some of these tabs over here, load the MLS. We're going to do some virtual driving for dollars. All right. So just so people can kind of see what this is, actually, maybe that'll make it easier. There we go. All right, let's look at some houses. No. Yeah, I'm just kind of jumping in trying to see what makes sense over here. And by the way, like always, if you have any questions, drop them into the chat. I'm going to change this banner. Just making sure that I do have everything set. All right. Now it is set. So there's an available free trial for 7 days if you sign up. So if you're watching this, feel free to check it out. You'll go in there. I've got a course on real estate investing that kind of covers the basics. You're going to, see videos on analyzing rentals, analyzing flips, wholesaling, working with contractors, a number of different strategies that we've used over the past 10 years to get us to the portfolio that we've got. And that being said, let's go ahead and jump into some of these properties and see if we can find something to buy. So is this a duplex or a tri? It is a triplex. All right. All right. This is big. Whenever I'm looking for multifamilies, each unit does have its own gas and electric meter, individual washer dryer setups. All right. Nice. So 3,100, huh? Excuse me. Looks cute, remodeled. Part of me is curious though, if, and I'm thinking so, if these rents are inclusive of utilities. Maybe not. But it looks like they're furnished. Maybe they were on Airbnb. It's cute. Let's do a little street view on this. Ah, okay. All right. So this backs up to these apartments right over here, and they can be a little bit rowdy at times. Parking one, two full size vehicles. Package unit HVAC right there. Somebody probably clip it before long. Does have some of these cute cottages, right? I want to say I actually looked at a property over here years ago, and I mean like 6, 7 years ago. Just couldn't quite get there with the owner. They had made it pretty, but the problem was they had a lot of underlying deferred maintenance, like foundation issues and everything else. And like I explained to the owner, it's great that you put a fresh paint job in here, but by the time I put the $10,000 foundation repair in here, I'm going to have to fix all these patches. I'm going to have to repaint. And there's some other issues that were going on with the house. So I never did buy that one over here. I do like this little pocket though. It's not a bad spot. But going back to the deal, I'm just wondering if you really, if those rents are what they supposed to be. So give me a second. Let's see. All right. So one of the things that I'll share with you, this is actually not being rented out long term. These are short term rentals, all 3 units, and yeah, so that's actually interesting. I'm going to have to check it out because I was quoted at 34,000, 33,000, and 18,000. So those are some pretty good gross numbers. Now we just have to check out a few other things. Okay. For future reference, how much is the coaching per month? So Makai, it really just depends on if you're going for just one sessions. So one sessions are 300 an hour. If you're looking for anything like regular weekly coaching, that can go as low as 1,000 for the month. So just when the time comes, if you want to talk about that, let me know. I'm actually in the process of clearing a few things off my plate to open up probably another 10 to 15 spots a month for that. So uh, yeah, I'm interested and excited to get that rolling. Going back to this property, I kind of like it. I have to say. Now, do I like it for 285,000? No, no, I don't. But it definitely has some potential. All right, so let's go through here. Look at a few other properties. Hmm. All right. So this is a one-bedroom house. I don't mind one-bedroom units in apartment complexes, but one-bedroom homes, that's a little bit tough just because, you know, you need to be able to command a little bit more in rent. And a one bedroom is still going to cap at a one bedroom rate, you know. Yeah. That's a shame. I kind of like that location too. We've got another property over on Trushell. All right. Number of units, 70,000 over on Wilkinson Airport. Now, is this the one that was in Vivian? Yeah. Okay. So this is actually going to be 5 units for that price. All right. So, anybody, if you have any questions, just let me know. I'm just kind of getting a little tunnel vision here, working on this. So, if I start to just ignore the stream, I apologize. I'll try to check here in a minute. All right. Look, let's just do one. We're going to underwrite one. All right. I don't know if you can see my program. No. All right. So let me just try to present the next screen here. All right, this might make more sense. So if we're going to underwrite this deal, we'll just start here. So I did a quick bit of math here, right? So that's 1275, so that's 1575, that's 1600. So if we're looking at 1600, if I did just my quick GRM, the gross rent multiplier, it's going to be 60, 96. If it had no deferred maintenance, then I could offer 96,000 on this. Here's kind of the rub. As we go through here, can I increase rents? And if I can increase rents, what do I have to do to increase the rents? So there's no stove. No, there's a connection for one. You see the vent hood here in the picture. Open space. Either that's a really big recliner or the picture's distorted. I'm going to think the picture's distorted. Also, look at your floor down here. You see the little gaps in the butt ends, right? Be aware of that. Doesn't necessarily indicate anything. However, yeah. Even if you went in and you overlaid that paneling, that would at least bring it, up to date a little bit. See if they have any. No, they didn't fill out any of that. So let's see. We're just going to make some assumptions here. Yeah. They're already wanting $170,000. My calculator's already saying 96. Since I'm an advocate of saying, hey, make the offer, I'm going to go ahead and get ready to make an offer. Let's just say if it needs minimal work, just another $10,000. Then my offer is going to be $86,000. What's it going to look like on the cash flow side of things? Here's the problem with that. Whenever you have the lower end units that are getting less than, say, $600 a month, a lot of property management, they have minimums, right? So that means that they'll manage for 10% a month. However, you're going to be charged a minimum of $60, $75. Some of them, $150 to $200 a month is their absolute minimum that they'll manage a unit for. So if we did that, we're going to go 4 units at just say $60 minimums. In reality, it's typically closer to 75, but that's going to be $240 a month right there in property management. In a fourplex, you're going to have an apartment policy. The apartment policy, probably like this, is going to run you about, I'd say, $325 a month. Underpaid utilities, you better not be paying any utilities for those prices. Rents, maintenance reserve, you always want to hold back 10%. In this case, I would probably hold back closer to 15. So that's actually going to be $240 a month. Your vacancy reserve, you can just do your standard 10% on that. But if we go in, now we've got property taxes. The property taxes on this, you're probably going to be sitting around, being that it has the multi-units, you're probably going to be sitting around 150 a month for 1,800 a year in taxes. So based on all of this, you're running negative $195 a month. Now, on paper, your NOI is showing at almost 500. Here's the reason why you're going to see a difference between monthly cash flow and NOI, right? NOI stands for net operating income. And net operating income is a formula or a factor that's determined to find your cap rate. Okay. So let's say, for example, I buy a property that is giving me $100,000 a year NOI for $1 million. Well, whenever you divide that NOI by the sales price, that arrives at your cap rate. In this case, it would be a 10% cash on cash return every year. So that's your capitalization rate. The reason why it's different between the monthly NOI and the cash flow is because the NOI never factors in debt service. Okay, so your mortgage. So you'll notice the swing is because of the monthly payment, the 679.72. If you go in and you take that back out, that's where you get to the 194.72. And that's just really not a good cap rate, man. I don't like it. Yeah. So this one here, just in running some numbers, how low do I need to go to make this make sense? I mean, I'm already at $60,000 on the debt service to make $10 a month. All right, let's take it down to 30. 247. That's still not even $100 a unit. This is a 4-unit building. So to get to where you need to be, you just need to really not make anything. It's because right here, right? Your property taxes, your management, your maintenance, utilities. By the time you hold back your reserves, you're really not going to be making anything. And on that note, we just go to the next one. I hate that because I'd like to, to make some deals. Sometimes that there's that saying, right? That dog won't hunt. Glendale Lands. There's 4 units for 300,000. 605 Merrick. These look familiar. Looks like somebody was playing Tetris with some bath tile. It's not uncommon. It happens when people have to make plumbing repairs to houses that old. Got some buckling plywood or some buckling. I want to call it veneer, but that's not buckling paneling. Either it's just not installed right or a little bit of moisture. 29.50 is your monthly rent. Even then, you're not even hitting the 1% rule. And this is kind of the rub, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and stop this part right here. A lot of people are putting up properties right now. Now, I'll be honest, I got a couple myself that I've just put up. And look, this is the price. If you want it, you want it. I tell you, at least my stuff hits the 1% rule. I've never, and if you're in Shreveport and you feel differently about this market than I do, please, I'd love to have somebody come on stream and let's chop it up and talk a bit about why you would feel that Shreveport is a market that you would buy under the 1% rule. And just so you know, the 1% rule, for example, is the monthly rent would be 1% of your overall purchase price. That's a rough example of the 1% rule. For example, if you're charging $1,000 a month in rent, you paid $100,000 for the property, it would take you 100 months to get your money back, so you're getting the 1% rule. We've been a little bit spoiled because a lot of our properties are closer to the 1.5 to 2% rule, but we also find a lot of those deals off market. And that's why I'm a big advocate of working with not only realtors, but also wholesalers, also going out for sale by owners, door knocking, doing mail, calling, to do anything that you can do to generate the leads that would come in to help you find more properties. Because the MLS is somewhat picked over right now. And the stuff that's on there, let's see if we can pull up the DOM. It is on market 423. That's not bad. That's 520 on the market before, but that's just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Hmm. Yeah, it's just not the most exciting time to surf the MLS. However, take a moment to Micaiah. I actually here. This is a great question. So I love both, but if I had, to just pick one, Jesus. Well, I can't just pick one. But do I enjoy? I enjoy my rentals more because the rentals allow me to go out and not have to punch in and do work a clock for somebody else. The rentals, once they're paid for, right? And even if you have enough that are cash flowing, you are able to replace your income. Flips, in my opinion, they're great for more immediate, fast cash, right? And your rentals are your slow cash. Um, I enjoy using both flips and rentals because the flips allow me to pay down my rentals. And I know a number of people that they have a strategy that they use and they go flip, flip, buy a rental. Then they'll flip another one, buy another rental. And that's how they acquire, right? But you do have to have a pretty steady deal flow for rental properties, or I'm sorry, for flips to be able to accomplish that. Does avoid a lot of stuff, So if you're, let's just say that if you start tomorrow and you're flipping three houses, four houses a year, that's one every 3 months. So if you're able to do that, that means that you're buying two rentals a year by doing that. Well, if you do that for 10 years, well, that's 20 rentals. Now, I believe in applying a little bit of leverage so that your money goes further. So maybe if you run your debt service against, flip, flip, buy a rental that you can apply debt service to, that means that your money just gets to go further while you're doing that. Let's see, and I'll actually break that down a little bit more in the school community. Hopefully, probably this week I'll knock something out that kind of shows that strategy a little bit more. So just to go back and answer your question, for the long term, I love the rentals. I love the stability of it. Flips are great for that quick income, for that quick cash. Matter of fact, that's what we like to do. Like we'll pick up a flip and our personal house. What we'll do is we'll pay it, not pay down, but we'll actually use some of the profit from the flip to go over here and we'll do the next project. Like one of the projects that we've got on deck is the outside of our pool area. We want to go out here and it's got the stamped concrete from 2007 whenever the house was built, and we want to tile that up and get that all nice and really just kind of create that oasis. We're going to lead with revenue by flipping properties to generate the capital to do that rather than just try to save up, right? It's easier to make money than it is to save money. So I just focus on trying to make money. Let's see. All right. Really, I thought that there would be stuff that was a little bit more exciting to find on the MLS. Oh, this is all right. I'm going to share the screen again. We'll look at this one because this is I had a call earlier. There we go. A couple days ago from an agent asking if I knew of some properties that would be for sale and just some portfolios that they're trying to buy for a client. And I said, I don't know. I've got a little 5 unit that I could probably part with. And they asked, is it the one over on Stoner? I said, no, but I'll have to look for it. So this is the one on Stoner that apparently they were referring to. 5 units for $150,000 and completely vacant. All right, you see this every meter, with the exception of one. If you got a really good eye, you can see that there's a meter that's in on one of these meters here. And then, of course, you've got all this siding damage and everything else. It's not looking good back there. Hmm. They want 150 for it. sold together with an 8-unit complex. Oh, okay. So 13 units for 400. Yeah. Well, wish I had, more exciting deals to present. It's a weird time in the market right now. Sellers are holding on to the hope that they didn't miss the peak, and buyers are, well, kind of in the sense of, well, now I can offer 10% of market value and get it accepted. It's just not the case. So it's this weird time when people are too far apart to oftentimes make deals. That being said, I think that's also a great time or a great opportunity in the market for investors, because investors, especially the ones that don't necessarily care too much to think, oh, what would they think about me if I made this offer? That they'll still make the offer and it might get shut down. But I've also had that happen before, to where this land that I put under contract, for example, they did a pretty hefty reduction. And then I went and I underwrote it. And I'm like, yeah, I can make this. We're probably going to land at this price, but the most I can pay is X. So I go and I make my offer and I present it, and it gets shot down within 5 minutes. I'm talking 5 minutes of presentation. The listing agent came back and said, yeah, no. So and then I go back, I'm like, all right, really, I was at this price, so if we can get it done for this price, which is still $100,000 off from where they were, that I would proceed. And they said, no, can't do it. Week later, I get a message, how fast can you close? So now we're under contract. We're working through that due diligence, and it's just reinforcement to let people know that while we are in a weird market, it's still a market that you can make money in. So don't be afraid to get out there and make an offer that makes sense for your numbers. Now, granted, there's only been one time that I've told somebody before that they would have to pay me to take the property, just because it needed so much work that it wasn't even worth it. Even lot value, I was going to have to spend another 6 grand just to clear it off the lot. But yeah, don't be afraid to get out there and make offers on your numbers. Base your numbers, set it, stick to it, and be abundant enough in your mindset and in your hunting for deals to note that there are other deals. You don't have to marry up to one and make a bad deal just for the sake of making a deal. Aside from that, if nobody else has anything, then cool. I'm going to go ahead and kick it off for the night. I hope that you have a great week. If you need anything, please don't hesitate to reach out. And yeah, looking forward to seeing what the week brings. Hope it's something awesome for you guys too. Y'all take care.